This documentary is created for educational purposes only. All information presented here is based on publicly available news reports, scientific studies, NGO investigations, and South African government documents. These sources include reporting from IOL, Eyewitness News, Mail and Guardian, environmental organizations such as Rethink the Stink and Green Connection, scientific research from the University of Cape Town and the CSIR, and official wastewater and environmental compliance reports from the City of Cape Town and the Department of Water and Sanitation. Their work forms the factual foundation of this story. A South Africa, a land of ancient mountains, restless oceans, and a coastline that has carried the weight of human ambition for more than a century. But today, something darker rides the waves. Dirty water, thick, discolored, and unmistakably polluted, pours into the sea at Milnerton Beach, Cape Town. Authorities say it is believed to be from an outfall pump. Residents say it is a disaster decades in the making. Environmental scientists say it is a warning we can no longer ignore. The camera glides over the shoreline, gulls circling, waves folding into themselves. And then the lens drops, revealing the plume, a spreading stain, drifting outward like ink in clear water. This is not a sudden accident. This is the climax of a century-long story. To understand the crisis unfolding at Milnerton Beach today, we must step back into a world that no longer exists. A world where the ocean was not a fragile ecosystem, but a bottomless pit. A world where human waste was not a pollutant, but an inconvenience to be pushed out of sight and out of mind. A world where the people designing Cape Town's infrastructure believed with absolute confidence that the sea could swallow anything. This is the origin story of the marine outfalls, the long, unseen pipes that now define Cape Town's wastewater legacy. In the early 1900s, Cape Town was a growing colonial port city perched on the edge of the Atlantic. Its population was small by today's standards, but rapidly expanding. Ships arrived from Europe, Asia, and the Americas. Trade boomed, neighborhoods grew, and with growth came a problem no one wanted to talk about. Sewage systems were primitive. Treatment plants barely existed. Most waste flowed through open channels, ditches, or rudimentary pipes that emptied into rivers or wetlands. The smell alone was a public health crisis. City planners needed a solution, fast, cheap, and effective. They turned to the ocean. To understand the crisis unfolding at Milnerton Beach today, we must step back into a world that no longer exists. A world where the ocean was not a fragile ecosystem, but a bottomless pit. A world where human waste was not a pollutant, but an inconvenience to be pushed out of sight and out of mind. This is the origin story of the marine outfalls, the long, unseen pipes that now define Cape Town's wastewater legacy. In the early 1900s, Cape Town was a growing colonial port city perched on the edge of the Atlantic. Its population was small by today's standards, but rapidly expanding. Ships arrived from Europe, Asia, and the Americas. Trade boomed. Neighborhoods grew. And with growth came a problem no one wanted to talk about. Sewage systems were primitive. Treatment plants barely existed. Most waste flowed through open channels, ditches, or rudimentary pipes that emptied into rivers or wetlands. The smell alone was a public health crisis. City planners needed a solution, fast, cheap, and effective. They turned to the ocean. At the time, environmental science was in its infancy. Concepts like ecosystem balance, nutrient loading, microbial contamination, and marine toxicity were decades away from being understood.
The ocean is vast
Instead,
and powerful.
the dominant
It will
belief,
dilute
shared by
anything.
engineers across Europe, America, and the British colonies, was simple. The ocean is vast. The ocean is powerful. The ocean can dilute anything. This was not seen as reckless. It was seen as modern, progressive, scientific. The idea was rooted in the physics of the time. If you release waste into a large enough body of water, the currents will disperse it until it becomes harmless. No one asked what harmless meant. No one measured long-term impacts. No one imagined a future where millions of people would live along the same coastline. The ocean was treated as a limitless resource, a dumping ground with no memory. The first marine outfalls were built with surprising ambition. Engineers designed long pipelines that extended hundreds of meters offshore, ending in diffusers that released wastewater into deeper water. But there was a catch, a massive one. The wastewater was not treated. It was only screened. Screening meant removing large solids, rags, plastics, debris, but leaving behind bacteria, viruses, chemicals, nutrients, human waste in liquid form. To early engineers, this was acceptable. To modern scientists, it is unthinkable. But in the early 20th century, the ocean was seen as a self-cleaning machine, a force of nature that could absorb anything humans threw at it. What they didn't know, environmental science at the time was shockingly limited. The following concepts were not yet understood. 1. Bioaccumulation, the idea that toxins can build up in marine organisms over time. 2. Eutrophication, excess nutrients causing algal blooms, oxygen depletion, and fish die-offs. 3. Pathogen survival. Bacteria and viruses can survive far longer in seawater than early scientists believed. 4. Coastal circulation patterns. Currents can push pollutants back toward shore, directly into swimming areas. 5. Long-term ecological collapse. Marine ecosystems are interconnected. Damage in one area spreads to others. To early planners, these ideas were unimaginable. To modern scientists, they are foundational. A colonial mindset. There was also a political dimension, one that shaped Cape Town's infrastructure for generations. The early sewage systems were designed primarily for wealthy, white neighborhoods. Townships and informal settlements were excluded from planning, funding, and maintenance. This meant underinvestment in wastewater treatment, minimal environmental oversight, infrastructure built for a fraction of the population it would eventually serve. The marine outfalls were never designed for a city of millions. They were designed for a city of tens of thousands, a city that no longer exists. Growth without planning. As Cape Town expanded through the 20th century, the outfalls remained largely unchanged. Population growth exploded. Urbanization, industrialization, tourism, housing developments, informal settlements, commercial expansion. But the wastewater system did not keep pace. The city kept relying on the same century-old philosophy: the ocean will take care of it. This belief persisted even as scientific evidence mounted that the ocean was struggling under the load. illusion of disappearance. One of the reasons the outfall system survived so long was psychological. When sewage is dumped into a river, you see it. You smell it. You cannot ignore it. But when sewage is dumped into the ocean, especially far offshore, it disappears from view. Out of sight, out of mind. This illusion allowed the city to avoid confronting the true scale of its wastewater problem. Residents didn't see the pollution. Tourists didn't see it. Politicians didn't see it. But the ocean. The turning point. Science catches up. By the late 20th century, marine scientists began studying the effects of wastewater outfalls around the world. Their findings were alarming. Wastewater plumes were drifting back toward shore. Pathogens were surviving longer than expected. Nutrients were causing algal blooms. Marine life was declining. Beaches were becoming contaminated. Cape Town was no exception. Studies from the University of Cape Town, the CSIR, and international journals revealed that the city's outfalls were not dispersing waste as effectively as once believed. Cape Town was no exception. Studies from the University of Cape Town, the CSIR, and international journals revealed that the city's outfalls were not dispersing waste as effectively as once believed. Instead, currents were pushing contaminants toward Milnerton Lagoon, Table Bay, Clifton, Camps Bay, Hout Bay. The ocean was returning what the city had tried to hide. A system built on assumptions. The marine outfall system was built on 3 assumptions. Assumption 1, the ocean is infinite. It is not. Assumption 2, wastewater will disperse harmlessly. It does not. Assumption 3, the system will never need major upgrades. It does. Desperately. These assumptions held for decades because the consequences were invisible. But as Cape Town grew, the cracks widened. The modern crisis, when assumptions collapse. Today, Cape Town faces a wastewater crisis that is the direct result of decisions made a century ago. The outfalls are still operating. The wastewater is still screened, not treated. The ocean is still receiving millions of liters of effluent daily. But now, beaches are contaminated. Lagoons are dying. Marine ecosystems are collapsing. Tourism is threatened. Residents are outraged. Scientists are sounding alarms. NGOs are filing legal challenges. Government departments are issuing compliance warnings. The system built on outdated science is failing under modern pressure. The ocean remembers. The early planners believed the ocean would forget, that it would erase the city's waste with every tide, that it would cleanse itself endlessly. But the ocean remembers. Every liter of wastewater, every chemical, every pathogen, every nutrient, every decision made in the name of convenience. The crisis at Milnerton Beach is not a mystery. It is the inevitable result of a century of assumptions. Assumptions that no longer hold in a world where science has revealed the ocean's limits. Let's keep the conversation going in the chat. Please like the video, share the video, subscribe to our channel, help us grow, and share your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.
A century-old system, marine outfalls have been used in Cape Town for over 100 years.